So yeah, like I said, TKInterface is a Python library. It's usually included. Um, it uses system level controls. What does that mean? That means that if I write the same Python program and I run it using Python on a Mac, that the controls will look like Mac OS controls. The buttons will look like Mac buttons. The menus and so forth, the colors, whatever, that will all match my computer, which is kind of nice because then it fits in with the rest of what you're doing. It doesn't look like some weird GUI that doesn't fit on your computer. So if you take that same program, you put it on Windows, it looks like Windows or Linux. Those are the really big three. And I'll show you as we get into TKInterface how some of those things look different in those different contexts. The last thing that we need to understand about TKInterface is it organizes objects in a hierarchy. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that TKInterface uses what are called widgets. And the main container for all of the widgets is the window. TKInterface often refers to that as a root, the root object or the root widget. All it's referring to is the main window of your application, the thing that contains all the other parts. Usually inside that window, there are what are called frames or content frames. Those frames are just ways to group parts of your window together so that they stay together visually on the page. They can be controlled and changed as a group. So inside the root, you have frames, and you can think of it sort of like, when you're in elementary school and you have the cafeteria plates that have a little pocket for like the applesauce and a pocket for your sandwich and a pocket for the carrots, and like there's like 5 or 6 pockets. That would be like frames. Frames aren't the stuff, they're just sort of the organizing structure for the stuff inside the window. So we have the root window, we have content frames, and inside that, if I was going to, let's say, make a conversion calculator that converts feet to windows, I might have an entry box that says, or feet to meters. I might have an entry box, a text box that says feet, where I put the feet in, a label that displays a result, a button that says calculate, labels for feet and meters so that people know what they are, and one that says the equivalency of those two things. So if that was actually something I would do, here is what, not that one. If I run the right program here. So in a little tiny, sorry, I can't make this bigger, but here's my little tiny calculator. Okay, so I have a text entry box. I have a label that says so such and such feet. And then I'd say equivalent to, and then there's a blank, and then meters. And if I put in like 50 feet and hit calculate, then it displays right here 15.24. So this is what's called an entry box. That's a label, that's a label, that's a label, and this middle part is also a label. I can change, a label displays text but doesn't allow people to enter or change the text. So all of that is inside a frame, inside a window. So that's, if I break down what that program looks like from a widget standpoint, from a hierarchy, that's how it all fits together. Okay, so another way to look at that hierarchy is kind of like this. So if I create a root window, that contains everything. Inside that, I have another container called my frame, or it's actually a frame, and it's called content, right? I've called it content. And then inside of that, I have a button, okay? And those are all objects in the TK module hierarchy. So that's how that simple program would look from a code perspective.